Kakbushundi arrived under the banyan tree, mentally invoked Sri Ram, and began his story. After the demise of Raja Dashrath, Rishi Vashisht dispatched messengers to bring Bharat back from his grandparents' home. As soon as Bharat reached Ayodhya, he saw bad omens. The rivers, parks, and gardens appeared lackluster. There was an ominous air about the city. Men and women appeared sorrowful. Animals seemed to be dull and listless. Birds were silent. What had happened? Bharat reached his mother's palace and saw that something was terribly wrong. She welcomed him with an aarti and then brought him inside her apartments. He was shocked to see the state of the palace. Kaikai, however, strangely enough, appeared very happy. She asked him whether all was well in her parental home. Bharat confirmed that everything was well there, but what was wrong in this home? Where was everybody? He asked. Then Kaikai told him the whole story of her boons and informed him of the king's passing away. Her words were like a knife plunged into Bharat's heart. He could only stare at his mother in disbelief. Worse than the news of his father's demise was the fact that she had exiled Ram to the forest simply to ensure that he obtained the kingdom. When the stunned Bharat was eventually able to speak, he accused his mother of destroying the family in every way. If that was the kind of wish that she had harbored, he lamented, why had she not killed him as soon as he was born? Had he not been alive, this disaster would have been averted. He asked her how she did not feel any anguish or pain when demanding her boon. How did she ever perceive Ram as a threat? Kaikai could not believe her eyes. She had thought that her son would be extremely happy with what she had done. Just then Manthra appeared and Shatrughan, in a fit of rage, knocked her down. There was a loud screech from Kakbushundi's audience. It was the high-spirited hawk, who could not contain his joy at Manthra being knocked down by Shatrughan. But one look from Kakbushundi ensured that the hawk calmed down and became quiet. Manthra, continued Kakbushundi, wailed at the top of her voice. Bharat restrained Shatrughan, and both brothers left Kaikai's apartments and headed for Kausalya Devi's palace. Kausalya Devi welcomed the two brothers with great love and tenderness. She warmly embraced Bharat, seated him on her lap, and wiped his tears. In a sad voice, she explained that one should not blame anyone. Events were often beyond human comprehension. She soothed Bharat's fears about people suspecting his role in this whole story. She assured him that she knew only too well that Ram was as dear to him as his own life, and that Ram felt the same way about Bharat. But despite Kausalya Devi's soothing words, Bharat was completely shattered by what his mother had done. Under the guidance of Rishi Vashisht, the last rites of the king were performed. Then, after a few days, the Rishi called for the court to assemble. Ayodhya had to be governed, and grief had to give way to the urgent demands of daily life. After consoling everyone, Rishi Vashisht pointed out that the king had offered two boons to Kaikeyi. One was to banish Ram to the forest, and the second to make Bharat king. The king had kept his word, even though at a great personal cost. To fulfill his father's word, Ram had left for the forest. The second boon was for Bharat to inherit the throne. That boon too, said Rishi Vashisht, needed to be fulfilled, and he urged Bharat to accept the kingdom and begin ruling it. Everyone present, including Mother Kausalya, thought that this was the best thing to do. Bharat, however, felt differently. Seeing Bharat's reluctance, Rishi Vashisht then gave Bharat a second option. After 14 years, when Sri Ram returned, Bharat could hand over the reins of the kingdom to his brother. In the meanwhile, however, he should accept the throne and thus devotedly serve Sri Ram. Everyone felt that this was a good decision. It had the approval of the Guru, the minister, and of Mother Kausalya. But that too was not acceptable to Bharat. With all respect and reverence, Bharat announced that what the Guru and other elders were saying did not sound right to him. It was true that the king's words had to be honored, but had the king really wanted to give the kingdom to Bharat? No. He had decided to declare Ram as Yuvraj. That is precisely what Kaikeyi too had always wanted. Therefore, the boons offered by Raja Dashrath did not express his own wishes. They were those of Kaikeyi, who made him articulate those words. So was it the king's sentiments that were to be honored, or those of Kaikeyi? Was it the letter or the spirit of the king's words that were to be given more importance? Further, was this really the intention of Kaikeyi, or had she been led astray by Mantra? In the final analysis, it was Mantra who wanted Ram banished and Bharat installed as king. Bharat blamed himself for everything that had happened and declared that he would choose to do only that which assured his own good. After deep reflection, he had understood that his well-being lay in just one thing, in serving Sri Ram. Without Ram, everything for him was bereft of meaning. The kingdom itself appeared to him as the abode of sorrow. So before anything else, he first needed to meet Sri Ram. He also declared that apart from Sri Ram and Sita Devi, everyone else would suspect him of having a role in this turn of events. Only Ram and Sita would never doubt him. They trusted him fully. In short, Bharat convinced everyone to depart the very next day to meet Sri Ram in the forest. The pall of gloom in the assembly instantly lifted and the whole situation was transformed. Kakbhushundi's most attentive audience was relieved that the story ended on a positive note. It was so much easier to sleep when one was happy, and in that cheerful state, the birds flew off into the deepening darkness.